Hello, hello. I'm back on DYFL as my own model, and I hate doing this, but I know that this is what you guys want to see for specific topics. So today's specific topic is how I get from looking tired and exhausted as a mom to looking super flawless, younger, more energized, and more youthful in literally 10 minutes. Obviously, today's class is not going to be just a 10-minute class because I'm going to be telling you about the products and showing you how I do it in slow motion. But when I do it in real life, you guys, I'm not even kidding you, it takes me 10 minutes flat to do my makeup. And this is not like a full crazy glam, but it is full coverage and it is very flawless and it does look beautiful in person and in photos if you happen to take some selfies. But it's a little understated and sophisticated and perfect for the mom life or even for the office life. If you are not a mom, or even if you are a mom, doesn't matter. If you're a girl like me who's busy and does not have time to sit there in front of a mirror for an hour every day, this class is definitely for you. I cut all the corners as far as like steps that don't make a huge difference at the end, especially for day to day. That would include like highlighting and contouring on another level. I do it, but I don't have to do it on that other level. So certain things I basically cut out of my routine to create my own mommy routine that is literally 10 minutes. Now on my face, obviously there's nothing. This is like the tired old me. But I am wearing my lashes. I keep them on. I keep them on. I sleep with them on for like a day. And then I'll take them off and use some fresh ones or clean them off or whatever. But the lash glue that I have literally lasts like 3 days if I want it to, and that's the House of Lashes lash glue. So I didn't want to rip them off and rip off my lashes unless it's already kind of peeling off. So the House of Lashes glue is serious stuff, you guys. It's not something to play around with. And because I glue my lashes so close to my real lashes, basically on my real lashes, if I pull them off, I end up losing a few lashes, which I don't really mind because I wear falsies anyway. But I don't want to have to unnecessarily do it. So I usually just have my lashes on from the get-go. So this is my 10-minute routine. I'm gonna just kind of show you a couple of the products that I'm gonna use, and then I'm just gonna do it and quickly explain what I'm doing. But if you guys have questions at the end of class, hopefully related to this class, trying to answer only related questions this time, you can ask me on this post on my Instagram page. It's a throwback, but it was when I first had Alia. She was 100 days old, so that's like, 3 months old. And I was still kind of new at the whole mom glam life where I was back to work and like going to events and stuff, but I still had the baby and I was breastfeeding every 3 hours, which I still am, but now it's like easier if I need some time to myself. I could just sit her in front of a TV or feed her a different meal from her dad and I can feed her later. But at this time it was a little crucial. So I'm using this picture because I'm kind of proud of myself. I have my lashes on, I have my lipstick on, my concealer looks good, my face looks good, my eyebrows look good. And I thought, you know what, if you guys have been asking for a quick and easy makeup tutorial for moms and for busy people, this picture kind of, it's just what I remembered to copy because I just loved it so much, and I did look really fresh and happy and youthful. So I'm gonna redo that on my face right now. And of the products that I'm gonna use, at that time I didn't have this particular product. I was just using concealer everywhere. But now Tarte Shape Tape has a foundation. I was just using Tarte Shape Tape concealer, which I love so much. And I have 2 colors in those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a Tarte Shape Tape concealer in medium and light medium. And I'm kind of right in between these 2 shades. So this is like the mix that I do. And now that I have the foundation too, I really, really love it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the foundation, then I'm going to add the concealer and blend the whole thing together. I'm going to warn you though, this is going to be quite different from a lot of the other classes you've seen when I'm doing someone else's makeup. I'm much more neat and tidy with my lines. I don't drag their skin very hard. I don't have a heavy hand, but I don't have a light hand either. It's somewhere in between. But when I'm doing myself, I literally beat my face. Like, I have a heavy hand. I use a lot of products. I just go nuts and swirl the brush. So I'm kind of doing a lot of the things that I teach not to do. But that's only because when I'm doing it on myself, I know the pressure that I'm used to and I'm okay with it. But if you were to do that on someone else, it's a little bit unprofessional. to be like, you know, hitting them and smearing product all over their face and going crazy. So I'd prefer, if you're doing this on other people, to be a little bit more gentle and more controlled with your arm movements and not to do too many swirlies. But if you're doing it on yourself, it really doesn't matter because you know how you like the pressure, so it's all good. So the foundations that I'm going to use, I actually have 2 colors that I use on myself. For the everyday woman, you'll probably have 1 foundation, and that's fine to use that all over, and then you can always highlight with a concealer if you need to. But because I'm in between shades, I just have these 2 in my makeup bag. By the way, this is my makeup bag. I carry this everywhere with me, and all my face stuff is in one side, and all my eye stuff and other stuff is on the other side. So it's like messy but organized at the same time. And it's always packed, so anytime I need to hop on a plane, it's already packed for me. Again, this is what it looks like. It's a mess, but it works for me, you know. This is my everyday, you know, thing. It's not like I use my makeup kit for my students, for my clients. So for the Shape Tape foundations, on my darker zones, which are my perimeters and my contour areas, I'm going to use Tan Honey. And everywhere else, especially the center zone and my cheeks, I'm going to use Medium Neutral, okay? So Medium Neutral and Tan Honey are the 2 colors I'm going to use for the foundation. Powder-wise, I pretty much use MAC Studio Fix just like I use on my clients. And then under my eyes, I use, sometimes I use Estee Lauder. It's a really, really light color powder called 1N2. It's like one of their lightest. It's super, super light. I don't know if you can see it. I'll do it sideways so you can see it. I use that just under my eyes sometimes. I'll mix it with the MAC. NC40, NC41 is my color. This is NC40. And sometimes I mix the 2 to create my perfect light color for under my eyes. But lately I've just kind of been using the Makeup Forever Artist palette, Artist Face palette, and I use the banana color a lot. I have my own palette here. I brought a new one, but obviously you see that I hit pan a long time ago with the banana. So I use that a lot. And then I'll be using some of these other shades for like contouring and like glam highlighting and stuff like that. So that's pretty much it with the powder and the contour. With the contour, I pretty much just use powder, but as you can see, because I have these 2 color foundations, when I draw them on and then I swirl and blend everything, it kind of just all turns into a mush. But I try to keep a little bit of zonage going on, so you'll see when I'm actually doing it. And then once my face is done and set completely, I go in and with, you know, the blush and the shimmer, and then I do my eyebrows, which are horrific, but I do my eyebrows, and then I do very minimal eye makeup day to day. I pretty much focus more on eyeliner and lashes and very little eyeshadow. So I'll show you that with lipstick. And then at the end of class, I just want to show you a quick and easy way to make it more glamorous. If I'm just trying to touch up for an evening dinner out or like a quick event that I want to pop into without having to re-glam myself, this is how I do it real fast while the baby's awake or in my lap or whatever. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. So basically, when I wake up in the morning, I just put on some cream and I get started right away with the foundations. The cream that I use, by the way, is the Absolute Premium Moisturizer from Lancome. This is the free gift size, small size, that I keep in my bag, in my makeup bag, but I have the full sizes at home. Sometimes I use that, sometimes I'll use Genifique, sometimes I'll use something else, but I love Lancome. So anyways, I'm going to start off with the Shape Tape Foundation in Medium Neutral. And I basically just go in and put the lighter color all over my center zone. So like the cheek area here, and a little bit on the chin, across my upper lip, down my nose, a little bit on the center of the forehead. And then I go in and fill in. What I love about this is it's a huge concealer wand, basically. That's all it is. And so then I just cover up that bottom half of my face, so it looks like a hot mess. And then I go in with the Tan Honey, the slightly darker shade, and I focus on the perimeters and the hollow of my cheek, which is where the contour would go basically. And I'll do like a little bit on the side of the nose, but I don't really fuss about that too much. And then I do under my lips. And once that's on, I go ahead and throw on my concealer. So I mainly use medium from Tarte Shape Tape Concealer under my eyes. So I'm just drawing that on. I'm going down the side of my nose as well. I also want to do a little bit more on the laugh lines with the medium and a little bit on the sides of my chin with the medium. I just like this color a lot. And then for the light medium, I'm going to go in basically just underneath my concealer color for my under eye. And that just kind of brings out my cheekbones a little bit. So once this whole map is on, I go really fast. By the way, when I draw this on in real life, I'm going boom, 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 boom. I'm not making it perfect. I just don't care. But at this point, I grab my Tarte buffing foundation brush, and I literally just buff in all those dark zones. And I kind of push it into my hairline a little bit. I do the side of my nose, go under my lip. And then once the dark zones are kind of buffed in, I'm kind of wiping off my brush with my neck so that I'm not double dipping. And then now I'm gonna push in all the highlight zones. So I go around and I'm just smearing it on. I'm doing pretty much everything that I don't do on my clients. I don't like to smear things on the clients. I like to just pat, but I know myself, I know my face and my pressure, and I'm doing it. So I kind of go in, I use like the angle part of the brush, this little point here to fit under my eyes. And I'm just gonna go around my brows. And I'm making sure that everything just looks really full coverage and really even. I love a good mask. And then I go over my eyelids once almost nothing is left on the brush. So that kind of acts as concealer for the eyelids, and also it acts as an eyeshadow base so that when I do my eyeshadow, it looks seamless and flawless. And afterward, I just kind of go in and pat, pat, pat until I feel like the coverage is pretty flawless. I basically want to make sure that there's no streaks of foundation still sitting on top of my skin. I want to make sure that all of the foundation is actually blended. And then whatever's left, take it down to the neck and the chest area. So that's that part. I'm trying not to go so fast because I want you guys to be able to follow along. But that's basically how that part works. So now that that's done, I'll go in with a smaller brush. This is the Morphe G34 brush. And I just want to make sure that my under eyes are completely patted down. There's no creasing anywhere around my eye area. So this is just like a quick little pat down that I do around that zone only. And then I fix up whatever's around my nose. So that's pretty much all I do with that brush. And now I'm going in with the brush that I have from one of my free gifts on DYFL, and that is the Morphe E48 brush. And I dip right into the banana color from Makeup Forever. And I'm just setting my under eye with that. So I use a pretty good amount. Sometimes I'll go in and I'll use the other powders that I showed you earlier, the MAC Studio Fix mixed with the Estee Lauder 1 and 2 color, which is like a really, really light color. And I'll show you that too. I'll put that on. But I really love how this banana color works for me. So I'm just going to dust this on around my eyes. Down the bridge of the nose, along the side of the nose as well. In my laugh lines. upper lip area, center of the brows, roll it up, a little extra on the cheek, chin, and under the corners of my mouth. Okay, once that's on, I go in with a big fluffy brush. This one is the Morphe E3, and I'm going to use my Studio Fix powder in NC40. This is the Studio Fix powder. I'm going in and I'm just gonna go ahead and swirl and set the rest of my face with this. As you can see, I love a nice full coverage, so I'm not holding back on how much product I'm using. If I see a little dry, flaky part of my nose is super dry, so anytime I see something flake, I just kind of scratch it off. And once my whole face is set, just a wipe off from my lips here. Then I can go in and start kind of reapplying like my highlight zones and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go with the contour zones as well. I'll use the Morphe 438 brush for my contour, and then back to the E48 for my under eyes and my highlight areas, just because I don't want to mix the brushes with the lights and the darks. So I'm going to go in with the lighter contour shade from Makeup Forever and start off on this outer portion and blend it down into my cheek area. Sometimes if I need to smile in order to find my right angle, that's fine. And I just kind of cup around my cheek just to lift it up a little bit, make me look happy, useful. And then whatever's left on the brush, I swirl into my hairline and the temples of my forehead. As you can see, I'm very rough on my brush. I never do this to clients, but again, it's just me. I don't really care. I'm just trying to do it as fast as possible, so I'm not really tripping. And then once I'm done with that, I take a small eyeshadow brush. This is from a free gift from like a million years ago. I just like the density of it. So I'm gonna go into the same light contour shade and just shade in the sides of my nose. Just straight up and down, right along the side. And I make sure I cut the tips to create a nice fine point on the nose. And then when I'm done with that, I go back in with my fluffy all over face powder brush and I soften up the contour so that it doesn't look so crazy and scary. And then anything else I want to soften up, I can do that with this brush. And it starts to look a little bit more natural, softer, whatever, like more blended. And then once that's done, I go back in with the E48 into my banana color and I just start repacking that brightness right along around my eye area. Still waiting for the day that I'm cleared to redo my under eye fillers so that I can not have to do so many layers of concealer and powder. But until that day comes, this is my routine now. Really going bright with my center zone. And then if I want to carve out my contour at all, I can add a little bit of that banana right underneath the contour. Okay, so once I'm done with that, I go into a blush brush. This one is an old Lancome blush brush from a set that I had. And I'm going to use the number 202 from Makeup Forever. It's like a really pretty pink. And I'm just using that right on the apple. So notice how I'm smiling. I find the ball of my cheeks. And I'm just giving myself a really pinky glow. And I'm gonna go a little bit under my eyes with that pinky glow, and that'll offset some of the yellow that we might be seeing from the banana color. Now, this is a small, old Estee Lauder foundation brush. I just like the size of it. I'm now gonna use the Estee Lauder. I just wanna show you, I don't usually do all of this, but I wanna show you why I like the Estee Lauder color. I'm gonna use that lighter tone, the 1N2, and I'm gonna mix it with NC40 from MAC. And I'm gonna use this as a final like under eye coat. And it just looks a lot more my skin color rather than yellow, but the yellow helps to brighten underneath. Or you could just mix everything together like I am right now. But like I said, normally I don't do all of this. I just wanted to show you why I have these powders in my kit, my personal kit. And then whatever's left on the brush, or you can grab more, just go back to the sides of the nose, center of the nose, and all that. Okay? And then I'm just gonna soften up the edges, make sure everything looks nice and ready to go for my highlight now. So now I'm done with my whole face. Basically, I just have to add a little bit of highlight, and then I could just do my brows and lips and I'm done. Or I could add eyeliner and eyeshadow as well if I feel like it. So let me add a little bit of highlight. This is another like optional thing. Again, when I'm doing this at home, I'm not talking, I'm really focused. I just like get it done super fast. This is a champagne highlight from Makeup Forever. And I like to just do a soft amount for day to day. I don't really go like that heavy unless I'm going to an event. And if I'm going to an event, then I'll go ahead and wet my brush with a little bit of spray and then apply the highlight. And then with my finger, I'm applying it to the bridge of my nose, and then with the clean finger, blending it. I also apply it like above my eyebrows, my lip, my chin, and I basically just kind of call it a day at this point. So once all that is done, if I feel like the highlight kind of made my under eyes look a little dark again, I kind of go back with a little bit of banana as needed. Sometimes when it's like towards the end of the day, like now, I'm much more tired. I've kind of gone through the day and I just need a little extra help. So that banana really kind of comes through for me. But usually in the beginning of the day, I don't have to use so much. So, all right, so now we're getting ready for the eyebrows and the eyes. So I'm using Benefit Goof Proof Brow Pencil in number 5. And I basically just do the quickest eyebrow ever when I'm doing day to day. I just kind of create my overall shape, angle first, and then I start filling in and making it thicker and thicker. So I'm going really light in the beginnings. And I like to go a little bit heavier and darker as I reach outward toward the arch in the tail. And then I just drag down and fix up the bottom edges. Mind you, I am doing this with a mirror that's like more than arm's length distance, so I'm hoping I'm not making this super messy, but I feel like it looks good on camera, so I'm not gonna fuss too much. And I use the spoolie at the other end to like just soften up the edges if I need to, but I still like to go pretty dark with my arch and tail. All right, so now that that brow is done, I'm gonna move on to this one. I start off with that lower edge first, just to complete the overall angle and shape of my brow. And then lightly just fill in and get thicker and thicker. I like to keep my brows nice and square in the beginnings, and I use my finger to kind of just drag it so it looks like a powdery finish. And if anything ever bothers me, I just use my finger to wipe it off. No big deal. I don't usually ever carve my brows with concealer or anything like that, especially when I'm doing like a quick mommy makeup. I really don't care about the total accuracy and precision. I just want to overall look good from far. But honestly, this makeup is so like full coverage flawless that even up close, like it looks pretty good. All right, so now we're just gonna kind of soften up the edges there. And I'm gonna make sure that both sides look pretty even. All right, that's pretty much as good as it gets right now. So brows are done. Now that that's done, we can do eyes and lips. So normally, what I do at this point is I just kind of get my lips over with, and then if I have time, I'll go ahead and do whatever I can with eyes. So when it comes to the lips, my go-to, and you guys know this already, like this is like my little formula, is Soar Lip Liner from MAC, which I desperately need to sharpen. So Soar Lip Liner. I overline the top a little bit. Also because I haven't had lip fillers in 2 years and I'm desperate. Okay, so once the Soar Lip Liner is on, I go back in with my all-time favorite color. This is Bashful from Girlactic Beauty. Girlactic.com has like really nice liquid lipsticks if you guys want to pick out some everyday shades. Bashful is my #1 everyday shade. Posh is another one that I really love. So get those two if you have similar coloring to me, or if you like this. Posh is similar to this. It's just a little bit more toasted, a little warmer, and like half a shade, or maybe a shade darker. And you can use my code DYF15 on girlactic.com to save. So lately I've been making my lips a little bit more ashy. So once I have a good layer of this, which is super comfortable, like I don't feel like I'm wearing anything, it's really nice, I add a thin layer of Lime Crime cashmere over it just to make it look a little bit more cool toned. And this is the Lime Crime cashmere. And that just kind of cools down the tone a little bit. Just gonna clean up the edge. Awesome. So at this point, I'm ready to do my eyes. So depending on how much time you have, like usually what I like to do is I pick out like a crease brush and any flat eyeshadow brush. The crease brush that I have is M503 from Morphe. Also, I have a Morphe discount. You guys know this. DYF, Morphe.com. Get all your brushes. Really good pricing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use, actually, instead of using an eyeshadow palette, in case you're on the go and you don't have a lot of space in your kit or whatever, I just use my contour kit. So I'm going to use the darker, this is the dark contour color from Makeup Forever, or any dark one from any contour kit you have. And I'm just going to like do my crease super fast with this dark contour shade and spread it out. And basically, this is just going to contour your eyes the same way that you contour your face. It's going to create depth where you want it, lift where you want it. And I'm just kind of giving myself a little bit of a crease there. And then, either with a flat brush or your finger, I go into the highlight shade. So first I use this one, now I'm using this one. And I press in the highlight shade all over my lid. And that's kind of like my little signature day-to-day thing. Super easy, just press it in. Of course, it shows up so much better when you use your fingers. So normally when I'm in a hurry, I just throw it on with my fingers. And it's just a really nice lid shade. And I covered the entire lid with it. We'll do one more layer just to make it really pop. Okay, now that that is done, let me use a little tissue on my hands. I'm gonna go back to that super dark color from the palette and just give myself a little bit of a smoky bottom here. It's the same color that I use in the crease, which is the darkest color in like any contour kit that you may have. This one is Makeup Forever. I clean off any dust that's fallen. And now I'm gonna do eyeliner. My go-to eyeliner these days is the Deepest Brown from LA Girl. This is the ultimate intense stay auto liner. I use it on the inside and on the outside, you know, the upper line and everything. But let me just quickly clean my lashes a little bit because they're sort of driving me a little crazy looking at all that fallout. Let me see if I have a brush that I can, yeah. So I'm just gonna use a small little brush to try to get rid of the fallout if I can. If not, no big deal, whatever. I'll use mascara later. Okay, so here's that eyeliner, you guys. It's really amazing. I'm just going to simply line my entire upper lash line, and then I create this little wingy dingy, and then I use my finger to extend it so that it just fades into nothing. And it's just a super simple trick. So again, just kind of throwing it on all over. Creating your little wing. And then extending it with your finger before it sets. And that's pretty much my trick. Literally, like, I hope no cops are watching this because I have been doing my makeup in the car for like years. And I've mastered winging it in the car. I mean, like, while driving, which is really bad, I know. I'm trying to like stop because I'm trying to create like more time for myself to just do it at home, especially now that I've mastered how to do my makeup so quickly. But that's just what I'm telling you. Like, these tricks are just so easy. You can literally do them with your eyes closed. So now I'm just adding a little bit of pencil on the outer part of my lashes there. And I'm going to go back in with that same brush I used in the crease and the bottom lash line, and I'm just going to soften it up. Yep. Super fast, super fast. So now the only thing left is really mascara. So I'm going to use the Lash Full Mascara from LC Cosmetics. I just got this. I typically usually use Lancome Hypnose Waterproof. It's like my go-to. And also the Benefit They're Real Mascara is one of my all-time favorites. So those are the two that I usually use, but I just got this from Lillet, LC Cosmetics, and so I just wanted to give it a try for a couple months. Or until it dries out. And I'm just kind of giving my lower lashes a nice flare. I like length and thickness on the lower lashes. And then anytime I see a little smudge, I just kind of get rid of it right away. And now I'm catching any clumps with my fingertips. And then I'm going to add a little bit on the falsies. And then before I'm done with that, I always kind of go through with my finger to make sure that the clumps are not there. And I wipe it off on a little tissue. And that's it. That's my like quick mommy makeup. Again, without the talking, without the showing the products and all that stuff, like it literally takes 10 minutes to do this. As you get it down. Of course, maybe your first time doing this, it may not take 10 minutes. But as you do it every single day, literally, like I said, like I can literally do my makeup with my eyes closed. If I had no mirror in front of me, I'm pretty sure I can get it pretty accurate. I don't know why I'm seeing this like edge of shadow down there, but whatever. It's just been a long day. So this is how I do it. If you want to take it up to the next level for a special date or whatever, sometimes I just go in and change the lips to a darker lip. But one of the things that I really like to do to really just make it super glam is I will go a little bit more crazy with my eyeliner. So like if you have a liquid liner, let's say like this, for example, this is the Lit liquid liner. One of the things that I've done to like be a little bit more dramatic with my eyes is go super thick with the liquid liner and do this like cat wing, this cat eye wing. So I'm going all the way from the inner, bringing it out into a nice thick cat eye. And I'm just going more dramatic with that wing as well. And I kind of drag it back into a point. Now, if that little mark happens, one of the things that I do is I'll add a little bit of black eyeshadow just in that little corner to hide it. Or you could just use any little clean, like a tiny brush. Oh my gosh, I just had one here and now I don't know. There it is. A clean small brush and literally just wipe off whatever little mistake you made and then fix the edge again. Again, my mirror is literally more than arm's length distance right now, so I'm hoping that this looks decent enough. But if it doesn't, please forgive me because I want to make sure that the mirror does not block you. Well, I guess I can use this pretty mirror. Okay, so now you can see a little bit more of a difference between this eye and this eye, we have a more kind of a smudgy, well, I guess this is also pretty fleeky. It's usually more smudgy. And then this one is like a true black and really sleek. And then what I was saying was, if you really want to just like take it up and do a little bit more smoky, use a tiny brush. This one is the Morphe 506, I believe. And I'm going to dip into the Tamana Palette Black, the Noir. This is Anastasia Beverly Hills, so you can still buy the Noir. And I'm just going to dot in a little bit of that black eyeshadow just in the corner here. And then I'm going to go into chocolate or any dark brown color and fade it into the lighter section of my eye. And also fade the black away into the outer section. Bam. So now we have like a true kind of like a cat eye smoke, but it literally took a second to do it. Really, really quick. And then whatever's left on the brush, I'll just smoke out the bottom lash line as well. And then that kind of creates a little bit more of a difference from day to night. Imagine switching the lipstick to like a dark berry color or something, and then adding a little bit of that black, and it just makes a nice little difference. So I'm gonna go ahead and just even myself out so I don't look crazy going home. So again, I'm just gonna fix up. And all together, doing your eyeliner and adding a little bit of that smokiness shouldn't take more than 5 minutes once you get all these steps down. So if my makeup took 10 minutes during the day to do, and then 5 minutes of a touch-up at night, altogether, that's 15 minutes of like a gorgeous glam. It's pretty awesome. What is going on? I need that closer mirror. And then adding a little bit of black eyeshadow just on this outer portion. Boom, boom, boom. Just like a little bit to touch into your eyeliner, and then go into brown to bring it into your gold and to blend out into your crease. And then whatever's left, connect it to your bottom. Bam. Okay, so I guess we can zoom out and you can see like the whole effect of the face. So yeah, this is my like go-to mommy makeup routine. I stick with the mauves, I stick with like pinky cheeks. It makes me feel younger and fresher. And with the eyes, I just keep it really neutral and really simple. I love putting on lashes, and I feel like that kind of opens up my eyes too. But if you guys don't have time for that, just double up on the mascara and you should be okay as long as you have lashes to begin with. I have like no lashes, so I kind of need the falsie thing. And I guess that's it. So at this point, let's answer some questions and go from there. I have about 10 minutes to answer questions. Not bad. Okay. Photo by Fairy is asking, how do you find the perfect color foundation to match you? Because whenever I go to Sephora, they match me and give me a sample to try. And when I do it, it looks patchy and dry on my skin. I have sensitive skin. And also, what are your best recommendations for concealer which don't crease, especially for lacy girls with dark circles? So first of all, the best way to match your foundation is to match it towards the center core of your face. So like usually the cheek area. A lot of people like to match here, but if you are a brown girl or any woman of color, our skin here is usually a little bit darker, like on the perimeter, especially here towards the chin, over here on the forehead, like all those areas are a little bit darker. So I usually like to match like right here somewhere so that I know that the color is blending into the skin nicely. And sometimes I'll match to two different colors. Like I use on myself a lighter color here, darker color in my contour areas. So that's where I would match. As far as like how to match, as long as the undertone and the depth of the tone looks like it's blending in. Like let's say you're like me, somewhere in the medium range. So you're gonna try the different medium foundation. So let's say there's 3 or 4 in the line that you're looking at. You can draw lines of 3 or 4 colors, and whichever color looks like it's literally disappearing, the one that you almost can't see, that's gonna be your shade. But make a nice long line so you're kind of, it's touching your cheek and it's touching like your jaw area so that you know that it's matching both your tones. And that's kind of how I do it. And sometimes if none of the colors look like they're matching, you may need to blend each of the tones separately so you can see which one blended looks the most natural. As far as it looking patchy and dry on the skin, it could just be the wrong formula. Like if your skin is dehydrated, the foundation that's for oily skin is not going to work on you the way it would work on oily skin. So you need to find something with a little bit more moisture in that case. So just shop around and see what you think about the different ones, but that's kind of what I would recommend. And as far as my favorite concealer for Desi skin, I really love the MAC, oh my God, what is it called? The MAC Pro Longwear NC42 is like my go-to for my Desi clients. And then I also love Shape Tape Concealer from Tarte. And the color that I would have in my kit is like medium if you have my color skin. But I would always, I always have at least a couple of really, really pale shades, a few mediums, and a couple of really dark shades so that I can cater to everybody. But for you, especially, just, obviously just have your own shade. So, Brides by Daisy. Hi, Tamana. Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. Her kid watches my snaps. Her question is, my under eyes have been looking so dry lately when I use concealer. Is there a concealer you recommend or a way to apply it? I only have the dry problem when I'm wearing makeup. When I don't have anything on, my skin looks totally hydrated and fine. So that could be what's happening is like when makeup goes on your skin, sometimes it can actually enhance the skin's problems. Or if it's a little drier in consistency, it can make your skin look drier or look cakey. And that's like my number one worst complaint from, all my students' questions is how do I make my skin look less cakey, or how do I make my client's skin look less cakey? Bottom line for me as your teacher, I'm going to tell you right now, I love cake on cake. I go heavy, 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 and somehow it ends up looking good at the end. And it's the techniques and the products that we're using too. My biggest suggestion is to make sure, first of all, you're not putting too much on at once. Sometimes if you start less and just dab, dab, dab and layer more, if you use a beauty blender, you can dab it nicely around your under eyes and see if that helps. See if a damp beauty blender helps. But the number one thing is make sure you have a good eye cream on underneath all that. If your eyes are not hydrated and you put something on it like makeup, it's going to look crackly, it's going to look cakey, and it's going to look creasing. It's just not going to look smooth and hydrated and young. So make sure you're hydrating your eyes with a good eye cream and then put on your makeup. Maybe use a damp beauty blender to apply your concealer and see if that makes a difference for you. Yes, Yaniset is asking, which blush color do I prefer for darker skin, and what temperature do you set your flat iron on? For my hair, I set my flat iron all the way high. 450 degrees is my own brand of flat iron with Bombay Hair, my collaboration. It's a flat iron that comes with like a whole bunch of different wands as well. It's a whole set of tools that we have on BombayHair.com under the collaborations menu for me. And when I made that set, I wanted it to be 450 degrees because that's like my favorite temperature for my hair and more coarser hair. For someone with super fine hair, like very, very fine and delicate or extremely damaged hair, you want to set it at like anywhere closer to 300 degrees if that does anything for you. So check that. Which blush color do I prefer on dark skin? I like berries and plums on darker skin, like a nice, rich, deep berry. I really love on darker skin. So go to MAC, check out their Deepest Berries. You will have a field day. There's so much to choose from. But yeah, when you go rich and bold with that color, on darker skin, it ends up looking a little bit more on the natural side when you just dust it on. But when you pack it on, you can see more of that color. So it's very versatile. If you use it lightly, it looks like a day-to-day shade. Use it heavily, and then you can really see it pop through. So I always carry shades like that for my darker skin clientele. Where's my outfit from? From the picture? That was from Zara. Or if you're talking about this, I don't think you're talking about this. This is just a t-shirt from Urban Outfitters. But from the picture, it's Zara. Let's see. Jasneet86, what's the best way to cover acne marks? With all mattified products. So matte foundation, matte powder, no shimmer on the bumps, only use shimmer on smooth areas like up here. But if you have acne here, don't do it. If you have any bumps or large pores here, don't use shimmer. Use matte highlighters like the banana as your highlighter instead of the champagne shiny thing. And then she's asking, can you show us how to do the wing liner with that curve before it wings out? By the way, I love you. Aw, thank you so much. I've done that in one of my other classes that I have myself as my model, my AIA Awards class. So if you are a All Access Pass member, go to my AIA Awards class, and I kind of did a little bit of that curve. And then also right now on the class listings, if the Michelle Lee Palma class is still up, you can watch that, and she does that curve as well. So Felisberta Luis is asking about lashes. Since she doesn't have time to put on lashes all the time, what mascara would I recommend to give more volume? I really would say the Lancome Hypnose Drama Waterproof gives you the most volume, curl, length, all that stuff. I really love it. It's truly amazing, and I love the waterproof version more than the non-waterproof because it locks in the curl better. So, but if you already have very curly lashes, then it doesn't matter either way you can use. But for me, I have lashes that grow straight, so I need that waterproof to lock in and dry faster on my curl. So let's see if I can fit in any more questions here. There's a lot of baby advice questions, so I'll have to do that like separately on Snapchat or something. Okay, I already answered a bunch of concealer questions. Okay, so here's one. Well, let me refresh and just make sure that I have everything here. Oh my gosh, so many more. Same thing that I said about the acne skin. A few of you are asking about textured skin. Same thing. You want to stick with matte products, full coverage, and that should definitely help. And if you have any darkness underneath, use an orange concealer underneath so that it can cancel out any darkness in the face. Okay, final question. It's another concealer thing. It's a longer question. MakeMeUp.skm is asking about under eyes as well, since that's a popular topic today. Okay, so I've been watching you in your class for 3 years now. Oh my God, awesome. Thank you. I love your techniques, and I apply all those techniques on myself and my clients, and believe me, it stays all day long. Awesome. Thank you so much for that feedback. So my question is that I try to highlight my under eyes with bright powder, and I use NC25, but my under eyes always creases. P.S. I have used all kinds of concealers from MAC to Shape Tape to Maybelline to LA Girl and Morphe, but my lines always end up showing up, and one of my friends thought I had an eyeshadow fallout, which was so embarrassing. Then in one of your classes, I heard you saying that don't pack too much powder, and now I don't pack too much powder, but then the problem is now that it's not too bright, and if I don't pack the powder, or I'm sorry, it's not too bright if I don't pack the powder. I just dust off Laura Mercier translucent powder because I use full coverage powder If I use full coverage powder, it will start creasing again and it looks like I have a shadow fallout. Please help. What should I do to get a nice bright look without looking weird? So one of those things, that's kind of one of the reasons why I like to use that banana color from Makeup Forever. I feel like it brightens up my under eyes without having to pack on so much. It's a very finely milled powder. So I would give that a try. But if that doesn't work for you, I mean, go to Sephora and try it. But if that doesn't work for you, I mean, the Laura Mercier works really well for that. If you just use a full coverage concealer and use the Laura Mercier with like a beauty blender or like a sponge or something and bake with it and then dust it off, see if that helps at all. But honestly, I don't like using less powder or sheer powder because I like that brightening. And when I do it on myself, I pretty much try to teach the ratio of like cream product to powder product, especially when you're creasing a lot, to use more powder, less cream. So if you're using less of the creamy stuff and more of the drier stuff, it won't swoosh around and melt around like a cream would, and then it wouldn't crease as bad. But sometimes some of us just are really happy all the time and we smile and our smile lines just move that product because we're constantly expressing ourselves on our face. And there's sometimes just no way around it. When you're laughing so much or smiling so much, or if you have a very deep line around your eyes and you're looking in different places and that line keeps pushing your makeup out and out and out and all of a sudden there's a crease in that line, that's one of the things that's really, really hard to control, especially if you have a deep line to begin with or you're very expressive with your face. So sometimes you may have to kind of just go with the flow, use a little less concealer so that it's less for the line to be pushing around, if that makes sense, and more powder so that it's drier and it just like sticks on. So try that combo, less concealer, more full coverage powder. And if that doesn't work, one of the other things that I've actually done for a client out of desperation and it actually worked is I used a little bit of the Urban Decay Primer Potion just on that crease area. I dabbed it on, I let it kind of dry a little bit, and then I put on a very, very thin layer of concealer and then powder, and it seemed to work a lot better than not doing it at all. So the Urban Decay Primer Potion actually is like a sheer color. It's not like a concealer color. So that would work really well for like any deep creases too. So you could do it under here and on your laugh lines. I've done it on laugh lines on clients in the past, and the Urban Decay Primer Potion, just pushing it right into the laugh line and then putting on concealer and powder, not too much concealer, but like enough, really seemed to do a nice difference compared to not using it at all. So those are my final tricks and techniques that you should try. And for everyone else out there, I will see you in the next class. We're in the process of scheduling some more classes for the rest of this month and next month. So stay tuned on the homepage for updates. Keep refreshing. I'm hoping to put some up on the site by tomorrow, but if not, the next day. So let me know if you guys have any requests. I would love to hear if you guys have specific requests on what you want to learn next time. You can actually list them in the Q&A area too on my latest post on Instagram. Let me know what you want to learn and I'll find a model that corresponds to that and I can book that in for the next few classes for the next couple of months. So looking forward to hearing your suggestions and I'll see you soon. Bye you guys.